The U.S. Supreme Court blocked President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan. It would have wiped out up to $20,000 in loans for more than 40 million Americans. ABC's M. Nguyen has the latest now in our top story at 10.
Tonight, President Joe Biden blasting the Supreme Court for rejecting his $430 billion federal student loan relief program.
Oh, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans.
The 6-3 decision split between conservatives and liberals, delivering a major defeat for Biden's plan, which would have wiped out up to $20,000 in debt for millions of borrowers. The White House had approved the plan under the HEROES Act, but Republican states pushed back, accusing the administration of executive overreach, arguing it was unfair to people who already paid back their loans or didn't go to college because of cost. The High Court agreed with the states, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing the Education Secretary did not have the power to rewrite that statute from the ground up. Justice Elena Kagan responding, this court today decides that some 40 million Americans will not receive the benefits the plan provides because, so says the court, that assistance is too significant.
The recent COVID-19 payment pauses presented a life raft for my wife and I. As like many others, we faced the uncertainty of careers and found ourselves having to live as a one-income household.
Now Biden is vowing to try again with a new debt relief plan, pivoting his sights to the Higher Education Act, which can compromise, waive, or release loans, though it's not clear who might get loan relief or how much. 26 million Americans had already applied for the original plan. The president also announced anyone who misses a student loan payment in the first 12 months after payments resume in October will temporarily not be at risk of default or have their credit harmed. And Biden added the administration has finalized a new repayment program that lessens the amount people need to pay each month.
No one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future, whether from a community college or a four-year college, will have to pay more than 5% of disposable income to repay their loan.
M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
People in South Dakota have some varying opinions tonight on that student loan forgiveness program. In 2023, the average student debt for someone who received their higher education in the state is just under $30,000. It's according to the U.S. News and World Report. In-state tuition for colleges has jumped up more than $10,000 since 2003. Some people say they're glad the High Court ruled against the debt relief plan. Others say the decision from the U.S. Supreme Court was a mistake.
Right now, I truly feel like student loans are just like a gorilla over my shoulder. Like, I haven't had to pay them necessarily. I've still been making payments somewhat in the meantime while we've had that delay due to COVID, but it's always there.
So I was lucky enough to attend college completely on scholarships and grants, and I feel like I truly worked my tail off my 4 years of high school, and going to college is a choice. So I was really, really pleased to hear that and excited for that.
Also, in a second case involving the student debt relief plan, the justices ruled unanimously 2 student loan borrowers did not have a legal standing to sue. Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers spoke about the ruling. He said the decision stops a power grab from the Biden administration.
We have recognized that it is Congress, and only Congress, that has the power of the purse. It's Congress that can spend money. And in fact, this administration understood that because there were dozens of efforts in Congress to have a student loan cancellation pass. Each one of those, including those in the democratically controlled Congress for the last 2 years, failed.
Nebraska took the lead among a total of 6 Republican-led states that brought suit to the High Court. One of those states included Iowa. Several Siouxland lawmakers gave reaction as well to the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in statements and on social media. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds said in her statement in part, quote, "This plan belittles Iowans who paid their own debt or chose not to pursue a traditional 4-year degree. It's encouraging to see the Supreme Court rein in President Biden's executive overreach and bring common sense back to the forefront," end quote. South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds says in a Twitter post, in part, quote, "The Supreme Court made the right decision by determining President Biden cannot act in such an overreaching manner without the proper authority from Congress. Clearly, mass forgiveness to more than 40 million borrowers was not the intent of any earlier congressional action," end quote.